another episode of Euphoric, the podcast. This is the New Year's episode. I am reflecting on everything 2024 brought me, everything that's coming ahead in 2025, and I wanted to give you some personal updates today as well. Before I begin though, if you've come to my show, or you found my book, or you found me on Instagram, or all the ways that the universe could have connected us, and you really are looking to get some space away from alcohol, you want to get so curious about your relationship with alcohol and really start to discover, where are you outsourcing your needs to it? Where are you giving away more power to it? Where are you creating these belief systems that alcohol is a necessary or a contributor in your life? And you kind of want to just unpack that in a beautifully intuitive and curious way, not to demoralize alcohol, but to literally just put it out of a job. I would love to invite you to Dry Boot Camp. So in the Euphoric community, we come together twice a year to do a 22-day break from alcohol. And not only do we do a 22 break from alcohol where we commit to not drinking, we really start to unpack what needs we're outsourcing to alcohol and whether that's really effective, whether it's actually working to meet our needs, and then meeting them in beautiful new holistic ways. It's an incredible community experience because you get so much momentum, you get so much accountability, and you get so much fun from all the other community members doing it. So this year, Dry Boot Camp starts January 14th. So if you're already committed to Dry January this year, it is a no-brainer for you to join. And we end February 4th, so you can kind of extend your Dry January just a little bit longer to really maximize the benefits. The program is usually $359. You guys, this time we're only selling it for $59. $59, that is it. That is literally like the cost of alcohol for less than a week, right? Like the average spend of alcohol in our country is $400 a month. And so this program not only goes into how to take care of your needs in new ways, you'll get live coaching from me. We have an incredible community that goes to it. You have a 22-day program and course that you're running through. I have so many guides included for you, like things to do instead of drinking, how to meet your needs, how to have fun without alcohol, how to feel confident with alcohol. I have my craving meditation, which is so good, where you can listen more to your soul. And we include a little shopping list for you so you can get prepared and get all stocked up on all the other drinks that you'll need for this month. Again, it's only $59 to join. We are so excited for this round. I hope to see you. If you didn't try January or Dry Boot Camp before, it'd be so cool for you to come back and to lend your experience and to commit to another Dry January together. I think it's just such a special time of year to, like, away from the excess and sluggishness of the holidays, for us to just band together and really take a stand for what it looks like to get super introspective this time of year instead of just glossing by and letting alcohol always run the show. Okay. So the link for that is becomeeuphoric.com/dry-bootcamp. It will be in the show notes. Let's get to our New Year's episode though. So New Year, this episode's airing January 1st. What a cool time to ring in 2025. And I'm just kind of reflecting a little bit about like what 2024 brought me, how I'm preparing for 2025, and I wanted to give you some updates. So in December, I went to Brazil, December 3rd, I believe, December 3rd, me and my husband flew off to Brazil. It is a country that has been on my bucket list for quite a long time, so I left my day job. I took a break from alcohol in 2018, and it changed my life. I started a business, I really turned on the fire in my life. I started taking ownership for things that I never took ownership for, like my career and really wanting to be an entrepreneur and an author. It just completely blew up my life in the best possible way. And in 2020, I was able to leave my full-time day job to go full-time into my business. So I launched it in like the end of 2018. 2019 is really my first year in business. And by 2020, I was able to leave my day job and be full-time in my business. It was also the first year I made my first 6 figures. So it's 2020, you guys remember, it's the pandemic, and all I want to do is travel. For so long, I had been like caught in this limbo of, needing to ask for time off, and oh my god, it was even worse for my husband, because I had a little bit more flexibility at my job, but for him, like, he had to ask, and then if anyone else was taking time off, even though he was like one of the top salespeople in his company, if anyone else was taking time off, like, he couldn't go. It was such a like bureaucratic old school system. So like getting time off between the two of us was always such a headache. And that was like the first 10 years of our relationship. Or yeah, I guess so, right? The first 10 years of our relationship was like that. So finally, it's 2020. I leave my day job. My husband's still with his, but all I want to do is travel. And I'm like, where can I go? And it's the pandemic, so everything is shut down. And I try to go to a few places. I go to Mexico with my parents because they love to vacation there. And I look at my bucket list of places that are open for the pandemic, and it's Turkey and Brazil. And, both of those countries at that time I'd never been to, so I was like, well, hell yes, I'd love to go to Turkey and Brazil. I didn't end up going, but I started really researching Brazil. I really wanted to get to the Costa Verde, which is that beautiful, lush coastline with like just jungles and beautiful like waters and stuff like that. Obviously, I wanted to go to Rio, and I heard really good things about Buzios, Brazil, which is something that Bridget Bardot discovered back in the 60s. It was like a little fishing town, and because of like her influence and all these other people traveling there, it's turned into like the Saint Tropez of Brazil. And so these like little areas, the Costa Verde, Rio, Buzios were places that I had on my bucket list for so long, and yet year after year, I just didn't seem to make it there. We obviously travel a lot, but somehow Brazil just didn't make the cut. We just didn't get there. And I was scrolling Instagram one day, and I saw this coach that was literally leading a retreat in Brazil in Buzios. I didn't really know her. I didn't really know what to expect, but I was like, I have to be there. And so I messaged her. I'm like, I'm interested. And it's so funny because later on, we obviously met and know each other very well now. But she told me she had no idea who I was and was like, who is this random person that wants to come on my retreat? Because most of everyone else that came knew her for years, right? Were like clients of hers for years. And so she tells me the details. I'm so sold. I've been wanting to do this for so long. I buy the retreat and I'm off to Brazil. And so I talked to my husband a little bit because we were thinking of maybe going to Thailand that time of year, but he kind of wanted to like not travel so far. So I was like, okay, what if you come to Brazil with me? We'll do a week together and then I'll go on my business retreat and you can go home. And so we made it work, right? And so he joins me in Brazil. We fly into Rio. It's actually kind of crummy weather the first few days. So like all of the beautiful cityscapes of Rio, like Rio has the best views. It's one of the most like magical like place for views, right? There's all the different like mountains and hills and the cityscape like built into it and all the beaches. We literally can't see any of it because it's kind of crummy weather. And it starts to kind of turn up and pick up, and we start to kind of explore a little bit more of Copacabana and stuff like that. But then it's time to move on. We go to Ilha Grande, which is an island that is off the coast of Brazil that actually used to be used as a prison. And so it was never developed. It didn't have any roads or any cars. And just in the last 20 years, it's been used as this tourist hotspot. So we get a boat over there, and it is like a pure jungle island. Like literally, there's no cars, there's no roads. We take a little boat to our hotel, which is right on the water. You can't even call it a hotel. It's like actually called a pousada in Portuguese, where it's like this little inn on the water, but it's gorgeous. It's like we literally step out of breakfast and the water's right there. There's no wave. It's one of those beautiful bays that you can totally swim in, swim really far in. Green waters, like reflecting the light of the jungle onto them. And oh my god, it is just pure peace. We get eaten alive by mosquitoes there, but every day we're just waking up, going swimming, eating such delicious food, like totally fresh foods that the chefs are making there, and reading all the books we can read. I think I read a book in like a weekend by Richard Branson, and it is just so peaceful. We get back to Rio, we do a little bit more of exploring of Rio, but then it's time for my husband to go back home and me to start my business retreat. So the business retreat starts in Rio, where my coach Stephanie, because I started working with her one-on-one too, took us out for this boat trip in the Rio Bay, which is so beautiful. We got to see all these sites all around the Rio Bay, and then we took off to Buzios the next day. Buzios was the most beautiful place ever. Like, I am such a snob for beach cities. I love the coast. I love swimming. I love like seeing sailboats in the water. I love to see the coastline and how the water meets up there. It's one of those like top 10 like beautiful, like it looks like the Mediterranean. Like when they say Buzios is like the Saint Tropez of Brazil, it really truly is. And we have an incredible time at this beautiful mansion with an overlook of all of the bay. We do a lot of masterminding. We do another boat tour. I go do a lot of swimming. Like we are just bonding and like getting to know each other in such beautiful ways. Everyone is obviously an entrepreneur and a business boss in their own right. And we do even a content day at this other beautiful mansion that she rented where I filmed a ton of content. So be sure to check out my Instagram at euphoric.af if you want to check out some behind the scenes into my trip to Brazil and some of the content I filmed there. And then, so Stephanie Swale is the coach that I went with. She had Bridget James Ling, like the star coach, come in and do a VIP day session, which was just amazing. Bridget James Ling is who I went to Florida to collect $1 million award because her company was hosting these awards on, entrepreneurs and how much they've made in their businesses so far. So that's an incredible experience. And let me think if I'm missing anything. We do some shopping in Buzios. We go out to eat a lot. Like, it's just a total vibe. And then we get back to Rio, and most people leave, but a few of her private clients stay, and we just have a gorgeous experience right in Copacabana, one of the nicest hotels there. We go kayaking in the morning and just working together by the pool questions, masterminding, all that stuff. It is such a trip, when you're like in the middle of December and you're just wearing all this tropical clothes and you're getting bit by mosquitoes and you're tanning and you're just in one of those places. And then I flew back right literally in time for the Christmas holidays. So I was able to order some gifts and do some shopping. I did a lot of shopping in Brazil for Christmas, but then me and my husband did some of that right before the holidays. And then it's like this whole shift, you know what I mean? Where it's like chilly where I live. Obviously, I live in California, so it's never snowing. It's not like cold, cold, but it's chilly, right? You need to wear sweaters and sweatshirts and stuff. And I helped my parents one night. We do a really lavish Christmas Eve. Like in Poland, the tradition is that Christmas Eve is almost bigger than Christmas Day. And so there's like 13 courses that you're supposed to prepare for Christmas Eve. And they're really special Christmas Eve courses that you don't really have any other time of year. And one of those is pierogi. So pierogi are like the traditional Polish dumplings that we make. And there's all these different kinds of flavors and stuffings. But Christmas Eve, you have the kind that have cabbage and mushrooms in them, which are really, really good. But it's like a whole thing, right? Like you have to get a special flour, you have to make the dough, you have to like roll it out, you have to like make the filling, you have to stuff them, you have to crimp them, you have to boil them, you have to saute them. So my mom's like, okay, you guys need to help. So we came over, it's just me, my husband, my brother, and we all made pierogi as a family. It's just one of those memories that's so special to me, especially as I'm alcohol free. Like I pay attention to this stuff so much more now. My dad turned 80 this year, and my mom 70. So I'm at that place where recognizing that these are the most special times, like when we're all together, and who knows how many more years we'll have of that. And I think it's so easy sometimes to get into just the habit of life where, we think everything's going to be the same forever, and it's really not. Like how many more Christmases do I have with my parents? And I'm just so, so grateful that, 7 years ago I decided to really awaken to my life in that way. To stop like numbing alcohol or using alcohol for fun, because it isn't actually producing those results in your life. It doesn't actually bring you closer to other people. It's empty, it's boorish. Like if you really analyze the situations that alcohol is present in, like can you really say that you're truly bonding with people? Or is it kind of artificial? And so Christmas time comes around. My sister has this big family. She has 3 kids, so she comes over with all her kids, and we open Christmas presents on Christmas Eve too, and that's really special because since I was the youngest of my siblings, I'm like the Santa Claus, and I pass out the gifts. Even though my sister has kids yet, they're kind of like still learning to read and stuff like that, so we kind of all do it together. We pass out gifts to everybody, and it is just one of my favorite days of the year. And now I'm kind of reflecting on all of 2024 and what it's brought me, and it's just so interesting because when I first went alcohol free in 2018, I literally told myself it was the best year of my life. And then 2019 came around and it was pretty good too. And then 2020 came around and that was the best year of my life. And then 2021 was pretty good too. And then 2022 came around and that was the best year of my life. And it just kept happening where as long as I was focusing on the things that I'm so grateful for, the ways that I'm able to make an impact and feel like I make a meaningful difference on this planet, the ways that I feel freedom and really live my life with autonomy and independence, those are things that are really important to me, is that sense of freedom and travel and being able to kind of do the experiences I really want to do and really allow myself to do them. Like we could all pick up and go somewhere if we wanted to, right? It's just a matter of making that choice and making it a priority. And sometimes we box ourselves in with these rules. I was just talking to my husband about something where I wanted to like move forward with something, but I was like, I don't know if it's worth it and stuff like that. And he kind of gave me this perspective shift on like, if you really want the outcome at the very end of it, why wouldn't you move forward with that? And so it's kind of funny how we box ourselves in sometimes and don't really allow ourselves to feel the complete freedom, the complete sense of gratitude, the complete sense of like joy and fulfillment and meaning and impact that we all really can allow ourselves to feel. And if we really truly can't, then how can we shift our lives so that we can feel those things? And so was 2024 the best year of my life? I don't know if I can say that, but it definitely was a year to remember. It was definitely one of those top contenders where, again, I'm pushed out of my comfort zone, where, again, I do new things and launch new programs. I meet incredible people in the certification, in, my masterminds, in my private business coaching, in Become Euphoric and Dry Boot Camp. It's such a special year because, yet again, my husband and I were able to travel to Europe for 5 weeks. and completely like leave our lives behind here and just be there in Europe together. And it was a year that I got my $1 million award. It was a year that I walked the stage to collect that and kind of really marked that huge milestone in my business and what it means for me. And so as I kind of close out 2024, it's really easy sometimes, no matter where you are as well, to think to yourself, did I achieve the goals that I set out for myself in the beginning of the year? And last year I recorded a really good podcast episode on that. It's like, what happens when you don't achieve the goals that you set out for yourself? What if like you came close but you didn't quite achieve them? And what if the universe almost tricks us? What if God or the universe like has us reaching so high for these goals that even if we get halfway there, it's something to celebrate. It's something to really, really feel grateful for. And that's kind of the mood I'm going for 2024. I feel just so, so grateful for everything that's been brought in. And I was kind of thinking back like some of my favorite memories from this year, some of the like most incredible personal like interactions I had with people, like how deep I was able to go with people, some of the new souls I was able to meet this year. And I think like reflecting on it like that felt so much better than just like tick, tick, tick. What did I accomplish? Did I get this, this, and this done? You know what I mean? And so it's that like wholesome feeling of like, who did I meet? What did they bring in my life? What was I able to bring into their lives? What kind of experiences did I have? How did I bond more with the people I love? How was I able to spend quality time with people? Like those are the things that I'm really tracking for. Was 2024 successful or not? Was it fulfilling? Was it meaningful? And as I look into 2025, whew, I'm being called to some really big goals. And I have this feeling of like focus where I'm being asked to almost set aside some of my other priorities I've had in the past to really be able to focus on some of the goals I have for 2025. I'm launching the Thought Leader Mastermind for the inaugural round where I'm going to be helping a select few write their best-selling books and get on stages and really position themselves as a thought leader in the marketplace because it makes such a difference. I mean, just imagine if you were able to work with someone like Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins or Rachel Hollis or Brendan Burchard or input your favorite self-help guru and you were able to work with them at the beginning of their career. Like, wouldn't you just jump on that? Wouldn't you love to do that? And the thing that happens is when you position yourself as a thought leader in the marketplace, other people feel that way about you too. The clients come pouring in, the revenue comes pouring in, the opportunities come pouring in, because people recognize in you that you're going to go far and that you are going to make a big impact on this planet. And positioning yourself like that means making some pretty big moves, like doing things in the real world. I think we all can learn and master things like social media and emailing and all that kind of stuff. And obviously we all do that if we have a business. But there's like next level actions that we can take that really put you on another level. When you start hosting things in real life, whether they're retreats or immersions or in-person experiences or events or conferences, you elevate your brand and you really elevate your leadership. When you do things like write a book, now and all of a sudden, if your program usually serve 20 people or 30 people or 100 people in a year, your book is now going out to thousands of people. Like the lives touched now by your work and your methodology span so much further than just a program could have because of the accessibility of a book, the popularity of books. When you go and speak on stages, you reach people who weren't even looking for you, who get so touched and so transformed in that moment. Because a speaker is so captivating when they're speaking the right message. Like, we don't have all the distractions when we're sitting in an audience. We're glued in, zoned in. And a speaker has the power to really change the trajectory of someone's life. And you can reach a lot more people that way as well. Thought leaders have their own methodology. Thought leaders disrupt the industry. Thought leaders are willing to be bold and go first. And I'm really, really honing in on that definition of a thought leader. I think I stepped into it truly when I wrote my book and when I started speaking a lot, when I also started hosting retreats and stuff like that and doing events. And obviously when I started my certification program, to have a methodology that you're teaching other people is really thought leadership at its core. But I want to take it further in 2025. I am so ready to write my second book. It's been in here for quite a long time and it's really morphed in a beautiful way because like what it is now is what it was meant to be. It's like not what it was like a year or two ago in my mind. Like it truly is something very special that I can't wait to write. And I can't wait to share the same story for from stages and make a keynote speech that really gets broadly seen and distributed across many stages, at least a big one for sure too, that I'm really planning on and hoping for, and I'm going to be working towards. And so as I'm taking my thought leadership to the next level, to not only have, this incredible business programs that are running, the alcohol-free programs that we're running, having the monthly recurring revenue and the sales coming in high cash months and being able to travel with my partner, we're kind of adding the book and the keynote speeches on top of all of that already. So how am I going to make room for it? I needed to decide what to let go. And I think that's like the same analogy for alcohol, right? Like, it's not like we have to demonize alcohol. It's just, is it really helping us get to where we want to go? Is drinking helping us achieve our biggest goals and dreams? Is it helping us feel the way we want to feel every day, to be on fire for our lives and really move forward? And that's when I really had that aha moment many years ago to let it go. Like, it wasn't serving me anymore. It was such an outdated tool that I used like in college and grad school and in my 20s, and it was not serving the person I wanted to become. I did not wake up feeling like $1 million after drinking. I don't think anyone on this planet can say that they do. And so if I want to be on fire for my life, if I want to achieve my biggest goals, if I want to make a huge impact on this planet, how does my life have any room for this silly beverage? And, deciding to let go of things sometimes means you outgrew them, or they're outdated, or they just no longer serve you, or they're really amazing, but they just don't fit in like all the things that you're trying to do. And sometimes as a business owner, that can be really hard because it feels like everything has its place and everything's working and all that kind of stuff. But I did decide to let go of my one-on-one coaching because I love working with my clients. Like, I seriously have such an incredible time working with people one-on-one to help them become that next level leader in their businesses, to command more of that income, to command more of that opportunity and the revenue and the impact and stuff like that. Like, it is so fulfilling for me to take everything I've learned on my entrepreneurship journey and teach it to other people. But in the one-on-one model, there's only so many people you can help at a time. And I've always taken on a handful of clients, and I've tried to limit it and stuff like that. And I literally signed one last client for 2025. She's going to be the last one. And I'm going to close the door, at least for now. I can't say it's for forever, but at least for now, I'm closing the door on that so I can really focus on my second book and on getting on stages. And I have to tell you, like, that was such a hard choice for me to make because I'm a coach. Like, that's what I do. I coach, right? Like, that is everything I stand for. So to let go for one-on-one coaching for a while is definitely a little heartbreaking, but at the same time, the coaching that I get to do in a group, the coaching that I do to be able to impact way more lives at the same time is definitely still going on. So not only do we have the Thought Leader Mastermind that starts in January, but we have my Empower Day of Coach certification program where you get 5X certified. So if you're looking to become a coach or really deepen your coaching skills, that is still going to be run. Our next intake is in April. So we usually start our intake a little earlier for enrollments, like we have an application process, all that jazz. But it's actually going to start in April, which I'm really, really excited for. We're still running our alcohol-free program, so we have obviously Dry Boot Camp coming up. We have Become Euphoric that really radically changes your subconscious desires for alcohol. And I also decided to retire, Become Emboldened. So that was my program that helped newly alcohol-free women really dig deep and find what they really truly want to do on this planet. And so many people in that program created their own podcasts, launched their own businesses, wrote books as well. It was kind of at those beginning stages of really getting that focus of what you want to do. Such an amazing program to run. But it's just like, as you keep expanding and you keep like diving into your work and specialty and keep on letting your creative ideas, it's like I can't juggle all of that at once. So we decided to retire, at least for live rounds. We're probably going to still have it as a self-paced version. So if you're curious about that, do inquire. DM me Emboldened on Instagram and I can send you some more information on that. But that is kind of how I'm looking to like downsize a little bit in the focus. So I'm not having my focus spread out in like 20 million different places, and I can really focus my gifts. And so, being able to write a book and write a keynote speech and get on stages is something that like takes some time, obviously. Like, the results aren't really, really quick. And that's kind of how I see the Thought Leader Mastermind as well, is it's like a giant workshop where if you come into this program, which has a very curated group, we're looking for the next level thought leaders. So if that's something you want to step into, you can see it as a giant workshop where maybe not everyone who joins that program is going to write a book, but we're going to kind of pull everyone at the beginning and really showcase like, these 4 things really make a thought leader. Which one would you like to focus on the most? And then, maybe you can focus on the second one and something like that. Maybe like a real go-getter will focus on all four. But that way, by the end of the program, each person will have made so much progress on that one focus point and really be able to show off that work to the world. Because a thought leader does things offline in a really big way, but then the magic is also showing what you're doing online so that you're still commanding all that visibility and you're still drawing in your soulmate clients. And obviously, the internet's what connects us all too. So it's kind of like this tandem thing where we work on it together. So that's kind of my bigger picture focus, obviously, in business, but also for 2025 in general, is kind of thinking a little bit of like, how can we go? I mentioned this book last time on the podcast, like 10x is easier than 2x, which means basically like if you were to grow 10 times faster or 10 times bigger, sometimes you have to let go of the things that you would just do marginally better if you just doubled or something like that. So that is a big thing for me to really get some clarity on, to really kind of clear my schedule a little bit as well, so that I have a lot more of that brain space to like focus on those really big needle moving things. I mean, if you're going to write a book, you need like a few hours set aside at a time to be able to really sit down and do that instead of multitasking and doing like 50 things at once. So I think that focus is really what at the heart of it is what I'm here for 2025. I shared this last year, and it can be kind of hard to share this because it's not something I can give you progress on. And someone who's a 3 on the Enneagram and a Leo, like obviously I want to share that there's progress. I want to share that this is moving forward. But I think I've shared before here that, me and my husband are trying to have a baby. We're not pregnant yet. So like obviously more and more time is going by that we're really still working on that goal. And, sometimes like it's just too much. Like sometimes we just take a break, like not from trying per se, but from thinking about it so much, and like reading about it and doing these different steps and different like not procedures, but like, protocols and stuff like that. So I'm really feeling called to like really refocus on that as well. Like I'm really feeling that spirit baby, my beautiful baby, coming closer and closer and closer. And it's so vulnerable to say, like on this podcast to an audience, to people listening, but I know that you are someone that is such a special soul too, and that I can confide this in you as well. And that, my dreams are just as sacred as your dreams, and that some of our dreams do take time to either accomplish or to manifest into this planet. So please send me your wishes on that. And I'm just really excited, which is kind of interesting because it's been a long journey. But there's like a whole new level of going deeper. And I think that when challenges arise in your life in the first place, it's because you're meant to crack open in this beautiful way. You're meant to crack open, learn something really divine, really profound, and change to become a different person. And so, with this kind of challenge on our doorstep, like, what is that next level of cracking open even more? What is that next level of ultimate transformation? Like, what still needs to be healed, either for me or my partner or together? And I think that knowing that that is coming makes me very excited. And I think that that's such a nice way to reframe challenges in your life, because otherwise, what happens? We get so stuck in like, why me? Why is this taking so long? Whether we're talking about business or something we want in life, like that victimhood is never going to help us. It's never going to bring the thing that we want faster to us. And then it just makes you feel so depressed, so frustrated, and so annoyed that the thing that you want hasn't happened yet. And so when we're able to be patient, but patient and still taking valiant action, that is like the bravest place you can be. It truly is. And whether that's in life in general, whether that's in your relationship with alcohol, whether that's in your business, like that is what I really want to adopt for 2025. And I invite you to come in. So like I said, we have 2 really incredible programs running in January. I would love to see you in the Thought Leader Mastermind if you're a business owner who really wants to become that next level thought leader, who wants to be writing books and speaking on stages and commanding the clients and the revenue and the opportunity that match that. I mean, my business took off when my book was published. Like, took off night and day. Such a big difference. And there's a lot of things I did leading up to that as well to already start positioning me as a thought leader in the marketplace. It is like, I'm telling you, people say going viral will change your life. I've never gone viral. I made well over $1 million in my business and I've never gone viral. So, like, I know how to do this in a way that calls in your perfect humans and your perfect people, in a way that really positions you as the expert and authority and someone people really want to work with, because they see you as a leader in this space, not just someone who is popular on the internet, which I think is a big deal. And if you are like ready to make that commitment, make that accountability, and get that momentum to get this life-changing break away from alcohol, whether you've done a dry January before or not. I think it'd be so cool to meet you in our dry boot camp. Like, that is a program that is the most accessible program we have. It's only $59. It's usually $359, so only $59 for everything you get. Like, I don't want to sound like an infomercial right now, reading off every single thing you get, but it is a lock. It is a value packed program. We have so many coaching calls. We have trainings with me. It's a live program. We're all doing it together. There's so many different guides and bonuses you get. There's a craving meditation. There's a shopping guide. Like, you're getting taken care of, I promise you, you know? And, it's such just a beautiful thing to come together as that community as well. And to just say, hey, like, even if I'm not sure if I can do this or if I even want to keep being alcohol free, I'm committed to do this January for 22 days. You can do anything for 22 days. So be sure to check the links down below for both of those programs. There is select spaces for each one, so the earlier you get in, the better. Our Thought Leader Mastermind is actually closing pretty soon. We're almost full, so literally, if it is calling to you, please do DM me on Instagram, Thought Leader or Paris, to be able to get the link to apply. You can read about it here. You can also apply in the link in the show notes. But we do vet everyone really carefully for the Thought Leader Mastermind because we want to make sure it's a really highly curated group. So the earlier, obviously, you get that in, we can get you onboarded and accepted if it's a right fit for us and everything like that. So as you're picturing what 2025 brings you, what is your word? What is your word for 2025? What was the best memory you had in 2024? What were some of the incredible new people that you met that really added to your life in 2024, even if it was just like one conversation you had with someone? What are the most incredible experiences you had in 2024? What are you most grateful for? And how can you decide to just fall in love with your life right now as it is? Even though, this is a podcast for the achievers, for the people who are growing, for the people who are like valiantly taking action for the things they want in life. It's so easy to keep thinking that we'll be happy when something happens or we reach a certain milestone. So how can you, for 2025, decide to be completely in love with your life, no matter what? And if you're really noticing that there's these areas of your life that you're super not happy about, how can you commit to radically changing them? Like, only you can change them. If you don't like your career, start your own business. If you don't like, where you live, move. If you don't like the toss and turn of, a drinking relationship, get out of it. Like, 2025 is that year, I think, for full ownership and really committing to being in love with our lives. So I'm wishing you the best 2025. I hope you had an amazing 2024. And stay tuned for our next episode. DM me on Instagram if this resonated. And if you already have a word set for 2025, I'd love to know what